Welcome to Monday, June 6, 2022, your day weather podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Cowboy State Daily has more original Wyoming news content than any other news organization in the state. Cowboy State Daily. Sign up for their daily newsletter and check them out on their Facebook page. Afternoon thunder, kind of a continuation of what we had over the weekend will be found for some of you. As we mentioned late last week, the focus is going to be east of the divide. For you folks on the western slope of Colorado, far southwestern, western Wyoming, back into Utah, those areas west of the divide, you're not going to see much. Along and east of the divide, the I-25 corridor and points east is where the action's going to be. And we're going to have a few thunderstorms over the next couple of days that could be severe. Temperatures are going to be very moderate through the early part of this week. By the end of the week and the weekend, it's going to feel like summer in many areas before cooling off towards the middle of next week. We do see an early summer pattern developing. It's still kind of a tug-of-war, late spring pattern with an early summer pattern, but basically, folks, we're seeing summer getting established slowly but surely. Today's satellite photo is actually a water vapor view. This shows where the heaviest water vapor amounts are in the atmosphere. So where you see the white, there will be clouds, but also the gray and white areas are showing the areas of the higher humidity air. And this little swath of higher humidity air right here is where we're going to be looking at that moisture coming in, making it available for showers and thunderstorms. The drier air shows up here in the orange and yellow and red colors there. So there's a fair amount of subtropical air, moisture available for afternoon and evening thunderstorms. And you see these two little areas right here. These are two small disturbances that are heading east, and they're going to arrive east of the divide at the warmest time of the day. That's why you're going to see the shower and thunderstorm activity developing here later on today. And you can see this little kink. See that little kink right there? That's one of those disturbances, a little bit of an upper level low right here, coming on in to trigger those late day showers and storms. And this is what happens this time of year. You get these subtle little systems. They arrive at the right time. That's going to set off the late day showers and storms. By the end of the week, notice we see high pressure beginning to build up a little bit. So here's the jet stream a little bit further south to start the week. But as we get into Wednesday, temperatures begin to warm up. You can see an area of high pressure developing over northern Mexico and southern New Mexico. And this is going to help bring in some very warm air from the desert states here by the end of the week. This is by Saturday. Notice the high getting established. This is a real typical early June pattern here where we get a desert high beginning to form. We still have this low off the coast of Vancouver Island, Washington, and Oregon. Now this system, sometimes this time of year, those systems just sit there then slowly dissipate. But that system up there is probably going to send another front through by early to mid next week. But we do see these surges of heat now developing in the desert southwest, which is exactly what you would expect in June. June can get really, really hot in the deserts of the southwestern United States. We don't have the monsoon yet, and the sun angle's very, very high. So you easily can warm up quickly. This is where the lightning coverage is being predicted this afternoon and evening across the region. And this is where the risk, the highest risk of severe weather will be. That's in the yellow zone right there. The darker shade of green, you have a smaller risk of severe weather. The lighter shade of green basically means general thunderstorms. This is what it looks like for tomorrow. Pretty extensive. Look at these thunderstorms here in eastern Colorado and northeastern and eastern New Mexico, then into the plain states. And then you can see where that risk of severe weather is going to be. So it's a little bit further east out into the plains, but the next two afternoon and evenings we'll need to watch out for severe weather, especially in those yellow areas. As we get into the weekend, I wanted to show you the warmer temperatures that are coming. These are the temperature anomalies by Saturday afternoon. So you can see the heat expanding out of the deserts and coming into the Rockies here. So it's going to feel very warm, very summer-like here by the end of the week and the weekend. Here's that next trough coming in. So the Pacific Northwest is going to be cooler while the Rockies and the northern plains and the high plains and the southern plains really heat up. Look at the central valleys of California starting to bake. And then by Sunday, the heat continues, although that colder air now is beginning to advance further south. And this colder air will come in early to mid next week. So yes, it's going to heat up, but it's probably going to back down again, that heat will, by early next week across the region. And there you can see by Wednesday of next week, the 15th of June, temperatures actually slipping a little bit below average again, cooling off a bit. But look at these temperatures here, but this is by Thursday. 100s in the Central Valley of California, lots of 100s in the desert Southwest. But one thing to remember, as I mentioned, it's exactly what you'd expect this time of year, but this heat, this really hot, warm weather helps draw a southerly flow out of the lower latitudes to the south, and this eventually is what starts the summer monsoon season in the desert Southwest and eventually areas to the north. And looking at the sea surface temperature anomaly right here, when we see these orange and yellow areas right here, we do have some warmer water, a little patch of cool here, but we do have some warmer water there off the Baja. And also, if you look in the Gulf of Mexico, then down into here, sea surface temperature anomalies are warmer than average. And look how warm they are all along the eastern seaboard and the Gulf of Mexico. This is one reason why it's going to be an active tropical storm and hurricane season with that warmth there. But when you have those warmer sea surface temperatures, you have more humidity available coming up out of the south and moving into the desert states. So you get the moisture coming up from here, and then you have the moisture from the Gulf coming up from here as well. So that summer thunderstorm monsoon pattern is likely going to develop during the second half of June for Arizona, New Mexico, the deserts of California. In fact, I think we'll even see over the next week to 10 days some thunderstorm activity in these areas starting to form. Have yourself a great Monday. We'll see you.